Proverbs 3:6. Becho derachecha da'ehu, vehu yeyasher orchotecha. So here's the second part of these familiar verses, Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. And so do not lean on your own understanding. And now we have in all your ways. Now let's look at a couple of these pieces here, 2ms pronominal suffix. But notice here that we have the yod and the segol. So this is telling us that we're looking at a plural noun. So remember that the pronominal suffixes are going to have a gender and number associated with the pronominal suffix, as well as a number that is associated with the noun. And so the suffix will also tell us that. Notice the segol yod right here. So this is going to be the plural noun ways, in all your ways, with a singular you, son, singular pronominal suffix. So that's probably obvious to a lot or well known, but nonetheless, we have a chance to talk about these things, so it works out nicely. So in all your ways, and then we get here the infamous know as an exclamation or a command, know him. And so there's that third masculine singular pronominal suffix, ehu, at the end of the call imperative 2ms of yada, yada. So know him. Now, many of you know this verse. You've had it memorized for a long time. In all your ways, acknowledge him, not know him, acknowledge him. Now, if you go to BDB, the first definition and section F, let me write this down here for you, BDB 1F, you're going to get this idea of yada, which is to recognize, to admit, to acknowledge, or to confess. Now, what's interesting here is that Proverbs 3:6 does not fall in those examples. BDB gives examples of Jeremiah 3, Jeremiah 14, Isaiah 59, Psalm 51, but not Proverbs 3:6. You would think this is such a well-known verse that it would be listed there, but it's not. However, I do think that's the idea that is at play here. There is a cognitive knowledge, but it's not a matter of in all your ways know him, and then that's sufficient in and of itself. In all your ways, recognize his work among you. Acknowledge him. Acknowledge that he is at work. That sort of thing, I think, is what we have at play here. Next, we get vehu, and he, but look at this, third masculine singular verb. So we get here the repetition of the subject, and so this could be something like, and he himself, with some sort of reflexive or an emphatic. He himself will make straight your, 2ms pronominal suffix, your paths. He will make straight your paths. He himself will make straight your paths. Now let's look at this verb here again real quick. We have here a PL, PL imperfect, third masculine singular, and the verbal root is yashar. Now in the call, this verb means to be straight, to be. So right here, we have the idea of a stative verb. Now, if this verb is stative in the call, then when we get to the PL, it becomes what we call factative. Factative. Now, you can read more about this if you're interested in Williams' Hebrew Syntax, section 1. Let me find it here, 141. You can find out more about this. And let me just remind you that one of the best things about Williams' syntax, in my opinion, is that in the third edition, John Beckman has gone through and added footnotes to all of the major reference grammars. And so you kind of get a one-stop quick guide to what these options can be, along with direction to all of the other reference grammars. So back to the factative here. If we're looking at a factative, if it is stative in the call, then in the PL, it becomes to make that state of the call. So let me just iron this out again. I think you're following me here, but he himself will make straight your paths. And that make straight concept is coming from the fact that this is a factitive PL, to make into that state. So, and he himself will make straight your paths.